like I said, when I was a little kid, you would like take your tooth and like dry it with your finger really good. Take a matchstick and light it off your tooth. And this is like that's that sulfur matchstick.
No, I never did that.
You remember that? You remember when you used to do that?
So.
And welcome everyone to episode 153 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you can hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony, Kenny, and Steven.
Oh, yeah. What's up, gents? How are you all?
What happening, fellas? What are you doing?
Man, I'm looking across the table, and I'm not
looking at me?
Nope. Negative Ghost Rider.
Uh-oh.
I'm so excited about tonight's episode. We got one of the absolute coolest dudes in bourbon is actually joining us tonight.
Yeah, and I know very little, and so now you're
this
gonna
is
have
Mr. Bourbon Swami,
Look at
Macaulay Minton from Dark Arts. Well, Dark Arts now. He's been in the game for a while, but man, welcome to the show, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on tonight. Professional title is the Bourbon Swami. I am the president and chief alchemist of Dark Arts Whiskey House.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Nice.
That's amazing. I love it.
And you guys have heard me talk about some Dark Arts stuff.
We have.
Yes.
We've talked about, and it's funny, the thing that I'm remembering now is when Kenny first mentioned Dark Arts, I was just like, what are you talking about? I was saying all kinds of crazy stuff because I had no idea what y'all were doing. And I'm really excited about, getting in to see some of the different products that you have and hearing more about your story and everything else because we don't have guests very often, not guests of your stature that have a whiskey company.
Well, and here's the thing, Macaulay. So we are, to our fault, brutally honest. We've had 2 or 3 distillers and had people want to be on our show. And we'll be like, you only want to come on our show because we're going to drink your stuff and be like, it's not very good.
Kenny, I will fight you.
Bro, no.
I will come across that table like a spider monkey right now if I need to establish dominance.
But that we don't get a lot of guests because we do pass, try, or buy. And with you, I already love your product. You know that. So I'm good to have you on because I know we already like your product. So you're one of the few guests we can actually have on because your product's freaking great. And so we've had to turn down several other people coming on because we're like, man, y'all don't, you really don't want to come on because we're going to freaking pass on your product. It's just overpriced, overhyped. It's not worth it. So man, it's such a pleasure to have you on tonight, bro.
Yeah, we're excited. But another thing that was exciting that happened recently that I'd like to talk about and get your
cold
perspective
chills.
on.
I haven't teared up once.
You did?
I watched it live and I teared up.
Oh,
yeah,
you know what we're talking about? We're talking about good old Coach Mark Pope coming home to the University of Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a good life for me.
There you go. See? Here's the thing. You guys that listen to this podcast know that Kenny made a really terrible prediction. Kenny, why'd you have to say it?
Well, I said we could get bounced the first round, win the whole thing. And then I really said, but we'll definitely get to the first round. And I was even wrong on that. Yeah.
And then I was joking around about Calipari getting fired, which I've done twice now.
And you can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. He didn't get fired though, right? He transferred.
We don't
He
know
went
him
to the
all
open
that money
portal,
now.
and Arkansas picked him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Got that Tyson chicken money down there in Arkansas.
That is that's a big buck of money.
Did y'all see where actually KSR got all that Tyson chicken sizzling from them?
The Dino Nuggets.
KSR is just the Dino Nuggets and everything else.
Matt Jones hot tub chicken nugget party.
Hot tub time machine.
But for real, I was following this, and I couldn't believe that, there's a lot of people who are going to debate the merits of Mark Pope being like a guy that can do it at Kentucky, right? But damn, was he convincing. I read an article that said he redefined the way that you do the introduction of a coach in a press conference because it was that amazing.
Well, first off, people were lining up in Rupp.
Right.
Not a small place.
Right.
Like hours before.
They turned away 3,000 to 5,000 people.
They filled Rupp of 22,000 people for a presser
and
had
to turn away
3,000 to 5,000. 5,000 people.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is insane.
And I watched it live on Facebook.
I did too.
Right. And I was driving when it happened, so I was listening to it on AM radio, of all things. And my kids are going, Dad, turn this off. It's boring. Can we listen to something else? And so they're like asking
You need to culture your children more.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So I'm like, and it's funny. My wife, thank God, she stepped in and she's like, you know something? Let Dad listen to this. It's an important moment in Kentucky history.
Well, I was going to take my son there.
You were.
But his flag football start at the exact same time.
Damn, you got to skip flag football, right?
I debated, and then I said, let's go to flag football.
Yeah.
But man, that would have been something else.
I hear you. I know, Macaulay, you're just getting on this podcast and you're like, whatever, but I mean, deep thoughts about Kentucky basketball or any care in the world about it?
I don't even know, bro. Do you even follow sports? You follow UK or just not much?
Cats by 90.
There you go.
There you go. I'll take that. But I don't want to harp on it too much, but like it really is a difference. And follow me here on this, okay? So I've heard all this media talking about the fact that we're not going to be on TV. That's the first thing I've heard.
Stupid.
Yeah, we're not going to be
was that media saying that or just DeMarcus Cousins? I saw DeMarcus Cousins saying
I heard other people say the reason why recruits are trying to move away or thinking not as like intently about Kentucky anymore is because Cal sort of sold that whole vision of you come here for a year, you get maximum exposure, I manage your playing time, and you get all this stuff.
The SEC has a contract with.
I know they have the contract.
Any PR is good PR.
Right.
We're just in a turbulent time right now.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel exactly the same way. But here's the thing: we had a coach who's like, "You come here, bring your talent here. I'll nurture it. I'll get you to the NBA." That was like the thing. He didn't.
Well,
he said,
"Do you want to coach a national championship game, or do you want to coach players in the league?"
And I agree with you 100%. That's where I'm going with this. And so, like to me,
I'm excited.
I wanted to have somebody that would build a national championship, and I liked what Pope was selling and saying, like, I want to work these guys hard. I want to do that. If I'm a kid that's like blue chip and I'm guaranteed to be a lottery pick and spend 1 year in college, do I really want to come to the University of Kentucky and work my butt off to win a championship, or am I more interested in just kind of having a boutique experience and moving on? And I kind of feel like some of these guys might just want a boutique experience and get out of here. They might not be cut out for what Mark Pope is selling, and I hope that there are guys that come in here that are cut out for it, you know?
That's going to be the people that want to grind their teeth, though.
Right, and I hope that they're out there. I'm sure they are. There's kids that got to want it, you know?
But Pope even said it. He's like, you have some players that are 3 and 4 year players, and you might have one or two occasionally that are one and done. I mean, he's
right.
But the thing with him, but so his, you seen all the news about so-and-so's entered the portal, you know what?
That was going to happen anyway.
Well, number one's going to happen anyway. But number two, just because they're in the portal, Pope might not want them.
Right.
So, like, for example,
Wagner.
The
tall
dude.
guy?
Oh, Z?
Z, Big Z?
Not Big Z.
Bradshaw?
Bradshaw. So Bradshaw left and committed. But Pope wouldn't want Bradshaw.
I wouldn't think so.
No. Because if you look at Pope's offense, all 5 positions are shooters.
Right.
Bradshaw's not a shooter. He can't shoot for crap. So
you heard it on the podcast.
It's one of those things where I'm just saying my freaking social media feeds. Oh, so and so the list. I don't care that they're going. Pope's going to recruit now. Proof's in the pudding. We'll see what happens this coming winter. This fall and winter. But like Bradshaw, for example, I hope he does great. Ohio State. I really do. Zero ill feelings. Hope he does awesome. But he's not in a Pope system. All 5 positions are shooters.
Right.
So
Big Z.
Here's the thing: we are recording this. This episode is going to drop. We're recording this on a Monday, and Big Z is supposed to meet with Pope today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
So by the time this drops on Friday, you might know whether Big Z is coming back or not. But Big Z is a player that would be in Pope's system.
Yeah,
because he's a shooter. He's a big man that's a shooter. So we'll see what happens when this episode drops. Hopefully, we'll have a good answer by then. But a lot of these players would not be in Pope's system anyway. But Pope is like Patino-esque, man. It's like you grind, you're hard, you've got the stamina. Was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. In the group text, I was like, when it first was announced that night, you can go back and call. I was like, what the heck? This is horrible.
Well, 85%
Coach
of people.
Patino, give me Coach Pearl, give me whoever over him.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't look at Pope at all. Then I started looking at it. I'm like, holy crap. With BYU this last year, he beat Baylor.
Right.
He beat Kansas at Kansas.
Kansas.
Here we go. Let's do this, man.
He got marquee wins, but he doesn't have that tournament victory. So you got all these people are like worried about that.
Cal ain't got tournament victories either.
Or Rick Pitino in the Kentucky Castle for Clue.
Boom.
Love it.
Maybe he'll bring Patino back as an assistant or something. That'd be freaking awesome. All right, so, fellas, before we get to our review,
right,
I would like to pass Macaulay 2 glasses.
Uh-oh, already?
I just want him to pick first place, second place.
Oh, my God, already early on here.
Yeah, no, first place, second place for Macaulay.
Can I give him any tips?
Oh, it doesn't matter. One has a logo and one doesn't, so it doesn't matter.
Macaulay, can I give you any tips, or do you need anything?
Well, here's the only tip. This is not all this is. This is helping me out.
All right.
I have 2 barrels aging for myself personally, and I want.
God.
I know. They're horrible, aren't they? So I just want you to
sulfur and boiled eggs.
Oh my gosh, so harsh.
Watch out.
Kenny.
Ugh.
Yeah, dark farts. How about that?
Did the dog piss in the second one? I can't tell right now. Oh my god!
So you pick first place, second place to see where my barrels are.
I don't know if I can drink this.
Killing me, Smalls.
Well, the reason why I was saying tips is because I'm like, Kenny's been known to give people their own stuff.
Oh no!
I thought you were going to do something crazy here, and I wanted to make sure that Macaulay was aware that you
smell
did that.
amazing so far.
And our listeners, man, y'all have heard me talk before, several episodes about dark arts. Like I've at least 3 to 4 episodes here, and I've talked on Mossick's podcast about it.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
We're going to get into it here in a little while, but man, talking about some good stuff, especially also for the money.
This one all day.
All day?
All day.
All right, so no, that's good. So is it all day just like that?
All day.
See, look at that. He took one sip. He already knows.
Day.
All right, so I kind of lied to you a little bit.
Did you put like Skull and like
no.
Ale 8 in that one and diluted to 86 proof.
Back to the old days.
So your other glass,
proof Ale 8.
well, your other glass is we actually bottled last April, and it was great. That was the best one then. The other glass that you picked first place was our second place winner then, but it's aged 1 year longer now.
Oh yeah.
And you now, Mossick, and Amin with Old Louisville.
Oh, that's my brother in arms.
This
you go.
This is my Old Louisville pick.
Oh, okay.
So the one that you picked second place is my Old Louisville pick from last year. That was clearly the first place winner with like 3 of us blind in it. But now the other one is that same mash bill, 51% corn, 49% malted barley, but it's 1 year older now, so it's still aging. All 4 of us have picked the one that's aging over the original one we barreled. So the tough part is it's now 11 years old. I don't know when to pull it. Pull it now, pull it 6 months from now, pull it a year from now. So I've got a sample from April. So I'm going to go back
in the winter.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back and revisit it and see, because it's gotten better though over time. So sweet, man. Awesome.
There you go.
Boom.
Look at that.
How about that?
So we got a pre-pour before the pours.
That's right. I
There
had to
you
get
go.
I had to get literally the expert, the pro's opinion on this.
I love that. I think it's great.
All day.
Thank you. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, mouthfeel on that, aromatic, everything was better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although the first one was bad. I was just joking earlier a little bit.
I know. That's all good.
I have a couple bottles of that first one, so I hope it's...
I've got I love it. I drink it all the time.
If you like sulfur and eggshells, please DM us and we'll get it to you
DM
ASAP.
Are we talking about Old Stubborn? What are we doing here?
Old Stubborn.
Talking about Old Stubborn here?
Dang, man.
So, boys, for this week, we have another review.
Ooh.
We do, and it's not going to make any of us feel any better because
Oh,
the
gosh.
title of this review is Kenny Mills Magic.
Oh, my
Kenny,
gosh.
Are you paying people again?
I told you I've got so many alt accounts and so many
email
logins.
addresses.
Yeah, some email addresses to do all these reviews from.
Well, the name of this person, so here we go. This is crazy. So he's a listener for about a year and a half. I have to say the addition of Kenny Mills, a.k.a. Kenny Thrills, a.k.a. the Stiff-Nipped Wonder.
Whoa.
A.k.a. the Double-Blind Bambino has
Hey, he's
made
cutting headlights right now.
this show even better.
Wow.
The blinds give a point of reference on pours and make each and every episode relevant, regardless of whether or not the bottle being reviewed seems like something I would be into on the surface. It's also created pretty stunning moments such as 1924 beating a birthday, Remus Gatsby over Michter's 10, and let us not forget Kenny's Nostradamus moment guessing the 3 pours in front of him. He said, "You guys rock, this show rocks." And this was left by John Glasses via Apple Podcasts on 4624. And John Glasses, if that's your name, which I'm sure it's not, we really appreciate that review.
Well, I don't have an Apple account, so that's definitely not me this time.
There you go.
He doesn't, quote, have one.
Well, how about that?
So Macaulay, some dudes out in Oregon, right?
No, Washington. Camus. Yeah.
The Camus Whiskey Club, their listeners, they sent us 3 double blinds.
Yeah.
And I guess 2 of the 3 correctly. Double blind. So that's what he's talking about.
That's
yeah.
pretty baller right there.
Yeah. It was pretty good. And
That's pretty cool.
and of course, we had a fun time welcoming Kenny to the podcast. So we appreciate that review.
Yeah, been about a year now. This is April now, so it's been about a year now.
Has it been a year? We
Year
haven't celebrated
anniversary.
our
Y'all
one
didn't give
year
me a cake or
anniversary.
anything.
Oh, that's when- okay, that's
or
when I was
pimento
away.
cheese. You think of me pimento cheese from Mousetrap?
I guess we share similar anniversaries. My business is a year old in 5 days.
There you go.
How sweet. There we go.
Somewhere the gods blessed me down with April 20th as the incorporation date.
There you go. Very good.
That seems a little random.
Hey, I was like, God is real.
So if you like a review, just leave us a review on Apple Podcasts so Kenny can't read it, and we'll get to it when we do.
That's right.
There you go. So as we mentioned earlier, we're just delighted tonight to have Macaulay Minton joining us. Macaulay, man, it's amazing to have you here with Dark Arts Whiskey House. And to get us kicked off here, man, we just want to hear a little bit more about how you got started in whiskey.
And just before your journey, I'm gonna go ahead.
He's like, let's get a pour.
I'm gonna pour the 3 core products. If you want to tell the listeners about the 3 core products just before your journey that we're pouring.
All right.
Yeah, so a little bit of the core lineup that we have going on. We've got a really dynamic lineup, honestly. The 3 core lineup is all a small batch product lineup, which means absolutely nothing to anyone else out in the industry except for myself, because what I do for these is I make a 3-barrel blend micro batch for each one of these. So I don't blend for consistency like a lot of the big producers out there. What I'm going for is just to make the best available whiskey that I can make. There's going to be a little bit of different nuances of flavor and aromatic, but still going to be in that same wheelhouse of flavors though. So each batch is just going to have its own eclectic vibe to it. Everything that we do is made with intent and intention. The first one on the lineup is what we like to call Barely Legal Bourbon. So that is our black label. So Barely Legal Bourbon isn't a reference to 18-year-old porn or anything like that. It is actually a reference to the mash bill. So I'm sure if you're listening to this, you know that bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. This bourbon is exactly 51% corn, 39% rye, and 10% malted rye.
Dude, I'm in love with that mash bill.
Ooh.
So it is honestly the highest high rye that you can possibly make.
I'm absolutely in love with it.
This one is always bottled at cask strength, so you'll have a little bit of proof differential on this one as well too. The next one in our core lineup is also another high rye bourbon, slightly different mash bill. It's 60% corn, 36 rye, and 4% malted barley. And this one is actually aged with French oak, but this is actually used with a very specific type of French oak called Jupice French oak.
Interesting. What's that? What's it? Can you elaborate?
Yes. So Jupice is actually a specific forest origin in France. Ooh. It is one of the smallest forests in France. It is what makes some of the most premium wines in the world. And when I was doing all of my protoceps on French oak, I had tons of different profiles, like forest origins, things like that. And really, when I found this wood, I just knew it was it. Because
that's awesome.
For French oak, for me, a lot of times French oak can be a little bit tannic on the palate and drying.
Right. Yep.
And I had a lot of duds. That's what happens when you're doing research.
Right.
And when I finally got to this jar, I was like, oh my God, this is it. And I called the cooperage up, and the cooperage was like, man, you've got really good taste. And I was like, oh, fuck. Well, I know exactly what that means. He's like,
the price is expensive.
That's the most expensive French oak money can buy. And I was just like, just go ahead and write it up and send it over here. And
put it on my tab, right?
Continue going. Yeah. Because honestly, what we do is about quality, and it's honestly for the culture as well, too, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's what kind of drives this brand. But that one's beautiful. Savory French oak on the front end. You get into a mid palate of red fruit like raspberry, and then you get a little spiciness on the end. And there's also a little bit of perceived sweetness, like a toffee on it, too. Very viscous.
Was that the red one?
That's the red one.
Can I have that back? Because I short poured myself here, and I want to make sure I have enough to do a full tasting here. You know how sometimes I over pour? So
each of our core lineup, actually the colors coordinate with the mash bill, and that also goes into our single barrel pick program. And the third one in our lineup is actually our Amburana rye whiskey. So this one is a 95.5 rye whiskey with a custom toast of Amburana. So a lot of people see Amburana out on the market, but most of it's actually in bourbon. And when I was doing my protoceps on this, I tried it in bourbon. It just wasn't for me. So like when I'm doing blending or cooking or anything, I honestly like to match intensity with intensity.
Okay.
So I found that mash bill paired well with that. I also worked with the cooperage to develop that. And that one actually has gained a little bit of regard here recently in the world.
Wait, do we have medals that can you hang them around the bottle?
We got some nice awards from New Orleans Bourbon Festival.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Nice.
you got to know this company's less than a year old, so
Yes.
that was our actually first debut on anything. So our Ambarana got silver for best small batch in North America at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival.
Fantastic.
The barely legal bourbon also placed as well too.
Dude, I love that barely legal bourbon mash though.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple of other gold winners as well too. So we won more awards at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival than any other brand. And
Oh, beautiful.
That's awesome.
we're
Heck yeah.
So
11 months,
Yeah.
15 days old.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, I have to stop you for a second, okay? Because this is like, how did that make you feel? Because for me, like, I'm an academic, right? If I can
I
get
am too.
if I can get a publication, like for my stuff, like I'm doing research, I get a publication.
he's a,
Esteemed.
yeah, like
he's a professor at UK. I don't think you know about it.
Okay, well,
Right.
I'm also a published academic
Right.
author as well too, but we
So-
probably don't need to talk about what I read. Or
oh,
my
right,
academic
awesome.
books.
Okay, that's fantastic. But when I get
It's
a
legal.
publication, I get excited. I mean,
Really?
how excited did you get, like with those awards when you got them? I mean,
It was just a great experience for that. I mean,
man.
because when we were actually just in the brainstorming stages of Dark Arts Whiskey House was last year at New Orleans Bourbon Festival. So coming back in was just kind of full circle.
Yeah.
We had a beautiful dinner at one of my great chef friends' restaurants. And then being able to go in and win some great awards was amazing. I mean, our single barrel cask strength beat out Elijah Craig this year as well,
oh man,
too.
that's freaking killer.
And for someone who's less than a year old,
yeah, that's amazing. That's
That's
amazing.
a powerful statement right
I
there.
love it. I'm getting
And,
excited to taste
well,
here.
which I'm already tasting. I don't know why you're not tasting yet.
I don't know. I was just listening, man. I'm
talking.
I'm interested in what the man's got to say here.
But if you listen back to several episodes that we've done, and also listen to Journey Drinkers, I've talked multiple times about Macaulay and Dark Arts and a few things. Ambarana, we referred to before. RD1 and Dark Arts Ambarana have been my two favorites. And I think that's mainly because they use staves. Is that right, Macaulay? You use stave in that?
Yeah, and I'll talk about the staving process
Man,
here in a
because
minute. And the
a lot
reason
of
we do that.
Yeah, a lot of Ambarana is just way overdone. I think it's too easy to overdo. So as far as Ambarana, Dark Arts and RD1 have been my favorite too. I totally butchered your story that you had said, and I even said that, hey, I'm just paraphrasing. But basically Macaulay, talked about, different new startups, and they have some story where 7 generations ago, so-and-so distilled moonshine here, moonshine da-da-da. It's alchemy, man. And he is a freaking master blender, a master finisher. And it's just, it's good stuff, man.
I do believe that it's probably important to talk about my pedagogy that came into play for this actually to come
100%,
into
man.
creation.
And the fact that
because
you just said pedagogy is fantastic. That's right up my alley. I'm really excited now.
that's
Yeah.
education.
That's education.
Go, brother. That's right, man.
So excited.
I told you, I'm so stoked, man.
So now that we've poured these whiskeys and we're beginning to taste them, that's now we can get into talking about that background, like what brought you to this point, man. Yeah, for sure. I don't mean to go in.
No, you're good. I think my wife is cooking upstairs. I'm smelling something really good right now.
I think it's this whiskey.
Well, I'm smelling whiskey, but she's actually cooking chicken or something else. So
I can't wait to go upstairs later.
There you go.
That's right.
So, sir, what do you say?
Yeah, so my career started out kind of blatantly. Like I was a University of Kentucky student. I honestly didn't care about whiskey at all. I wanted to be a master brewer, and I enrolled into the Jim Beam Institute after almost graduating college and sticked it out for another year there, studying brewing, distillation, and winemaking science. And I was in a college class with one of our professors, and he gave me one of the genetics tests for like the master taster's genetics. And I was the only person in the room that had all the thresholds for it.
Wow.
Dude, that's dope.
Wow.
Really didn't care about whiskey at the time. I wanted to be a master brewer. I wanted to move to like California or like Denver,
like some
like,
Colorado,
Nashville,
double
or like,
IPAs.
something like that. Just get out of Lexington, like, because it was just such a terrible place to live in during that day. And actually went on a field trip to a microbiology lab called Firm Solutions, which also houses Wilderness Trail Distillery, and that's what actually got me started in the industry. So
that's where I first met you.
I was an intern for Firm Solutions studying fermentation, yeast optimization practices. I wrote a research project on an ale yeast strain that we took to market for English ale yeast production.
Very cool.
And then thought I was going to get out of there, because I was like, man, if I can learn this fermentation shit, I can get a job anywhere. It turned out it ended up being then the next room as a distillery operator, and I kind of just went Red Robin around that place.
Right.
Worked in the distillery, managed bottling, worked in the gift shop, and then I really honed in on my craft when I was working in the gift shop, because that's where I started the single barrel pick program.
Okay.
About 6-7 years ago now. And started that up on the cash register, sold 100 barrels the first year.
Yeah.
And then I grew that up to a 1,000-barrel program.
You're talking about Wilderness Trail, you did that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where I first met Macaulay. Yeah, I first met him down
I had
there.
no idea. Yeah. And I've had some banger Wilderness Trail picks, some single barrels. There it is. No, why, exactly. Yeah, no. And I mean, it's funny because to me, Wilderness Trail, not to go too far into them, but I do feel like that was a company, I mean, they still are, where the single barrels, some of the single barrels were way better than the regular blends, in my opinion.
No public comment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, there you go. You can't say much, but from a taster standpoint, just a guy who's drinking whiskey,
strains that they will create a lot of different flavor profiles.
I would not be the man I am today without that life experience, and I have nothing but gratitude and appreciation for everyone I worked with over the years, and that is the honest to God truth.
Amazing.
And there's not many people in my shoes that can say that for their coworkers.
Have you ever done a pick at Wilderness Trail, Anthony?
I've not, no.
Okay. I did a few picks at Wilderness Trail with Macaulay, and the room you're in, it's just like a really cool, chill vibe, great room. So fast forward, Dark Arts. First pick I did, kind of cool room, whatever. I went about a month ago. Holy crap, dude. Your new room for picks is stupid. It is freaking dope. So it's another, Dark Arts is also, if you are any of the, any of our listeners are in any kind of, they got some pull of some stores, some Facebook groups, some bourbon groups that want to do picks. The pick place at Dark Arts now is also like freaking just awesome, chill spot.
And anybody can go in there, right? Like,
nope.
Nope, not everybody. Okay,
nope.
All right.
Illuminati only.
No Diddy.
That's amazing. I'm just saying, it's really cool to hear that you came up with some good stuff. Through some good people and good quality education. What's that?
Pedagogy.
Pedagogy. Not many people using that word outside of the academic environment.
Dude, the actual French oak is just so good.
Which one's the middle one, right?
The middle one.
The middle one.
Yeah, I haven't hit the Ambarana yet, but I love that Bare Legal bourbon. My old Louisville pick is 51% corn, 49 malted barley. This is 51 corn, 39 rye, 10 malted rye. Or,
yes, sir.
Okay, so it's just, dude, it's
talking about the red one,
the far right, the black.
Okay.
But the cheapest grain is corn, right?
It is.
So we had an episode come out the other day on the OCD number 5, the Glens Creek. And it's like 78% corn. What was it? 87%? 87% corn? Whatever that was. We're like, man.
That was a lot of corn.
Dial up. I think it was 87%.
It was like cream corn.
Yeah, it was 87. We're like, dial.
Oh, yeah, the cream corn.
Cut the corn back your mash bill. Add some malted barley. Add some rye.
Well, you've seen their fermenters, haven't you?
I've not been up there.
No, yeah.
I've not been.
Yeah.
But
what's that got to do with anything?
we actually so that
bless your heart.
Exactly. Hey,
now for us that
I'm an
was
academic. I don't know academic
I went
whiskey.
from working in the hospital at Wilderness Trail to seeing that, and it was like,
I gotcha.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead. He had a point. I told
no. My point.
I messed him up.
No, my whole point was the high rye, the high malted barley. That's some of the best flavors. That's some of these mash bills are so freaking good. And this French oak, I guess whatever French oak, like you said, you did your different deep dive on the different woods, but this French oak is so good, so rounded.
I'm in love with this green bottle.
Yeah.
The nosing on it and tasting is like an iced gingerbread cookie.
See, that's the most polarizing of the lineup, and that's what's so interesting when I take this lineup in different liquor stores is because like every single person that I go to says that they love one of them for another reason, and it's okay because we didn't design this brand to be a mass consumer brand. This was a very niche market. Everything that we do is good that they're niche.
All way different. Yeah.
You're right. You're talking about Amburana, right? The green.
Yeah, the green. So it's a raw Amburana.
The green, yeah.
Now, see, I'm the same way though.
That's
there's
good.
Something.
It's very good.
I don't know if I can put my finger on it, but there's a flavor.
I've had rare character picks, seal box picks, the dark arts. I definitely prefer rye and Amburana, not bourbon and Amburana. But this one is not overdone, man, because he can talk about it with the stave versus the whole barrel.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different controversy in what perceptions are and what white papers and like science of extraction actually means and to when you're going into whiskey production. And that's what you really have to think about on the finishing process. When you're doing a finishing, like do we really need to cut down a 250-year-old tree from Japan, France, South America to hit our flavor attenuation profiles? Or what do we do that's more sustainable and flavor controlling is actually using a staving technique? Because what I do at Dark Arts is we age this in the original number 4 charred cask of a white oak, and then we put our additional flavoring staves in there. And what we do is we take them out as flavor hits the point on it. And you have to think about it as a control factor, because what a lot of people do is when they buy these like $5,000 cask from South America, they hit these extraction rates on there, and what you're pulling out on the first time is a very nice vanilla profile. Second time you go in, you start getting into your lactone, specifically on Amburana, and then third, fourth use on it, you start getting into the aldehydes of it, which gives it this waxy and soap-like quality. So what we decided to do was to take a different approach on it using a staving technique and be able to have a fresh piece of biomass each time to hit those extractions and attenuation on our flavor development on there. And it's actually a little bit more friendly for the environment, and it's also has to make someone have a little bit more craft to it, because there's no like Excel sheet that says after 70 days go pull this bung out of there. We're working in the warehouse 7 days a week monitoring the flavor progression on this and pulling it out, and there's no magic 8-ball or crystal ball on it, because when you start getting into the seasons, like you have to think about summer, winter, like with humidity, like barometric pressure, and all these things that are like the actual attenuation factors on flavor development and maturation on where we're trying to go with it. And it's a question of art and science, but I call it alchemy.
Yes, sir.
Boom. Cow. Bro,
dropping knowledge, man. I appreciate you.
Mind blown over here. Seriously.
I'm whiskey nerd, so I love this stuff, dude.
Yeah. Barrel science.
Right.
Love it.
Exactly. I mean,
the white papers don't lie.
No, but honest to God, like, I mean, I know that people put a lot of thought and effort into the products that they make, but I mean,
that tree is key,
right? Exactly,
and where it grows up and how and all the environment and all that stuff.
And to pick that apart and talk about it is actually probably a deeper dive than I've ever done or thought about when it comes to the whiskey.
Well, that's one thing that you have to realize about the label of this bottle. Like,
right.
I don't know. If you're listening to this, you can't see what I'm talking
about.
We'll
put pictures out. We'll put
pictures up, though, yeah.
Like, this brand is rooted in alchemy, and I always make the funny story and joke. Like, we decided not to, like, talk about my family's century-old farm and come up with some, like, marketing fable of, like, my great-uncle might have distilled for Stonewall Jackson, or my mom sitting on the couch over there decided to sleep with some guy that worked at the cooperage, and that's why I have, like, whiskey in my blood or anything like that.
Shout out, Mama, drinking some Red Breast. Drinking some Red Breast 27 right now.
There you go.
We decided to go with the motif of alchemy, and alchemy is something that like a lot of people don't understand. Like, for a lot of people, they like to say that alchemy is, they tried to turn lead into gold. Well, that's not what alchemy is about. It's about like material and personal and spiritual transformation. And that's actually what brought us into modern medicine and chemistry. I mean, one of the most famous alchemists was Sir Isaac Newton. And you have to think about this being a time and age when church and state is conflicting with mysticism, scientific inquiry, artistry. And that's what the name dark arts comes from, because dark arts is what alchemy was called in that time and age. So like that's what it is. So dark arts isn't some like devil worshiping witchcraft brand like I hear from the good old boys every now and then out there on the streets. And it's not about turning lead into gold either. It's about like personal transformation, and what we view ourselves as doing is turning ordinary whiskey into liquid gold. And on the front of that bottle, that's what we encompass it with. So on the front of the bottle, we pay homage to that by having our Alchemist Deimos on the front of it. Yeah. We also have these 7 alchemical symbols on the front of the bottle. The first one is crop growth. Okay. So that is representative of the grains that we use. Like, so at Dark Arts, we use corn, we use rye, we use malted rye. We also use malted barley as well, too. We actually don't do any wheated products because rye or die, baby.
That's a shirt right there. I like that. I like that. Is it on the shirt yet?
It's on my leg tattooed.
I think you need the merch right there.
We'll have to get some of those going. But
caramel.
Going through the 7 phases, the next one is fermentation. That's like where we're pulling out those sugars and transmutating it into alcohol. We're also putting in some of those flavor conjures that are going to be pulled out during distillation. Next one is actually distillation. And that's the power of transformation from that base spirit into a higher like consistency of spirit. So we're going from that base alcohol of 10-13% up to 120, 140, 150.
Good numbers.
149.
Oh, there you go.
So, and then going around the wheel, we're also going into maturation. So that is one of the most important parts of the process, is what is that base spirit going into and what's it being done with?
Right.
Next, we're going into finishing. So that's one of the things that we do, is we do a lot of finishing, either wine, spirits, or exotic woods. Next is blending. So you have to think about blending as a different concept. Like I said earlier, that we're doing a 3-barrel blend for everything, but you also have to think about like what are you proofing it at? Like how are you mixing those spirits together?
Right.
Like, am I taking the ultra highest stuff and just cutting it down to water, or am I adding water to open up the spirit? And then finally is bottling, because when you look at a bottle of whiskey, that kind of gives you their internal perceptions of what you're going to be experiencing when you're hitting the glass. And you also have to think about chill filtration, non-chill filtration, and just like the psychology of like looking at a bottle and saying, damn, I want to drink that versus that looks terrible.
Right. Well, and you know what's funny? You talked about the person in the middle of the bottle. That's a Greek, right?
No, it's Italian.
We gave him a fictitious background just to give him a little bit of a name. His name is Deimos of Athens.
Oh, okay. See,
he was separated between the moon and the sea, and looked one night into the stars, and decided to make aquavit or something like that.
So. That's Francesco over there.
That's Francesco.
That's Francesco.
Okay.
No,
it's not.
I don't know who. We might know the different ones of that, but absolutely not. That's Fugazi.
We're gonna fight. See here, there you go. Fugazi. See, what's amazing is Steven's Italian. I'm Greek, so we had a little fun with that. But
Fugazi.
On the core products, are those are what, $89?
They
roughly
retail
$99?
around $89.99,
okay,
plus or minus some depending on what states.
Yeah. And just,
they're also available on our website as well too. So darkartswhiskey.com.
Okay.
We have the core lineup. We also have our 150th Derby blend that's about to quit selling right now in the next 2 days.
Okay.
We ship to all continental United States.
So real quickly on the Derby bottle, because I saw that and it really piqued my interest. And I don't want to, make you continue to talk here, but I like talking. You like talking? Okay, good. Because that Derby bottle is honoring
Isaac Murphy.
Yeah,
Isaac Murphy is the first African American jockey to win the Kentucky Derby 3 times.
Amazing.
3 times. Wow.
3 times. So we partnered with a nonprofit organization to help raise some money for the awareness of African Americans and to preserve turf history.
Right.
Because God, you have to think about like how we've got to the 150th Derby and what those people have gone through. Like,
right.
I mean, could you imagine being an African American into the 1800s and having to deal with that and the perseverance of you being a superstar, like Tiger Woods status almost, without like the shock and awe factor, and having to endure everything that goes in there? We always talk about the 150th Derby as marking something of history. But what I also talk about is the next 150 years.
Right.
How do we honor the past, and how do we use whiskey to bring and foster community and develop the next 150 years as a social covalent bond?
Okay. And that's, you know what, that's amazing. And here's what I was going to say about this, and you're probably going to hate me for this. I hope you don't. Okay.
I'll swing hard right.
Please do.
And if you do come after me, they'll love it. Kenny and Steven will be like, this is great.
Please, let's hear it.
When I saw that bottle and I saw the history of it, I stopped for a moment. I read about the jockey, right? Mm-hmm. And I was immediately like, man, this is awesome. And I also thought about the fact that I have a lot of, since moving to Kentucky in 2011, I've collected a lot of horse stuff. But most of my horse stuff is mainstream horse stuff. So like Maker's bottles, Woodford bottles, pictures of moments that are important and this and that. And guess what I don't have in any of those things? I have nothing to do with any African-American history in the jockey world or the horse racing world.
So you need a bottle is what you're saying.
And so I initially thought, like, I really want that bottle for that reason, even though that's not the same reason that I feel like you created it. I still feel like it can be there for appreciation, and hopefully that's not a bad thing for me to just have it for appreciation and maybe get two and open one and leave one on the shelf with everything else.
Might be able to get you a bottle.
Yeah. But again, I don't know. You're probably like, don't fetishize this bottle and have it up there just for people to see. No, tell the story of it. Let people know what some of the history is that, I don't know. Maybe you see that differently. But anyway, I wasn't trying to get deep thought here. I can tell by looking at you.
No.
Whatever.
Let's continue that conversation, actually. Like
some other time or now?
No, right now. I mean, you got me in the basement, don't you? Right now, I'm in front of the microphone.
Can't leave.
Let's talk about it then. I mean, those things are. I'm not upset at anything that you said. Everything that you just said is what is the status quo of the United States and America right now, and
absolutely.
Most of it, major sports or music or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of shadow history in there, and a lot of African Americans and suppressed minorities, like, regardless of skin color, religion, or sexual gender, that are marginalized in this country, and that doesn't need to be the factor of this, because we're in 2024 right now, and I honestly see, and the supporters and my people who support my whiskey brand also agree with that message, and we're trying to build the bridge of inclusion across the board, and that's what we're about.
Love it, man.
Speaking of inclusion,
yes, for sure.
What I just poured you fellas just now.
All right. Did you want something here? You gotta get
give me a glass, my guy. Anthony, get the glass.
Sorry,
Steven's got a bum arm.
Steven's got the arm going. Here you go.
All right, so what I'm pouring right now is the second best one that I've had. You'll tell them because Macaulay has freaking everything. But so what I just poured is a Dark Arts 10-year. This is 113.14 proof. This is a double barrel blend from my group that I'm in called OMWP.
Oh,
yeah, one man wolf pack. OMWP.
Oh, one man wolf pack. There you go. Perfect.
The best one of these I've had is actually the Bourbon Junkies double barrel blend. This is my second favorite, and then the Justin's House of Bourbon one I had was my third. And I know you've already done way more than those three.
Ryan, did you hear Kenny say that?
Hey, he knows it, man. Ryan even admits the Bourbon Junkies blend was better than his single barrel. But this is so different than the first core products that you guys had. So I want you guys to taste this and see what you think. But this is now 10 years old instead of a lot of the core is 7, 8,
6.5,
well,
6, 7, 8.
Can I get back on my pedestal?
There you go,
for
baby.
a second?
You do it, man.
There you go.
So
we got you.
Our business is hugely diversified, honestly. I mean, it's kind of fourfold in my mind. So, of course, we have the core lineup. Second off, we also do single barrel picks and custom blending. So that's kind of 2 and 3 on that one, honestly. So twofold, you come in, you pick a traditional single barrel pick, Or we also offer up a custom blending program. So you can come in and take different mash bills, different finishes, and create that into a really unique product for you. We actually had a write-up on Market Watch for us as being a disruptor of the industry.
Oh,
they
nice.
kind of
Impressive.
segued into another whiskey advocate article as well, too. That's a different one than what you're
Nice.
smiling about.
Okay,
right
gotcha,
now.
gotcha,
We'll
gotcha,
go
gotcha.
into that one in just a second.
Yep.
So just kind of opening up the opportunity of like, I don't know, I've been to so many barrel picks and out in the industry. And even when I started my program at the previous company, you go in there and they're like, all right, pour the first one. Like, all right, do you want this one? Like, no. Like, all right, pour the second one. Nope. Like, pour the third one. Like, then it's just like, oh, that's it. Versus, I will find you what you want.
Yeah.
I listen to what you say. I listen to your feedback, and we tailor it that way to go through there. Like, if it's a single barrel selection or we're coming up with a custom blend for you, we're going to find something that you love.
Yeah. Even at Wilderness Trail one time, we went, I think we tasted a bunch of them. We picked our top 2, maybe 3, and we all left the room so Macaulay could blind us. He went and grabbed an extra one that he, based on what we had picked, he's like, you know what? I think these guys are going to like this. And the one that he threw in at the very end was the one we all picked as first place. So yeah, it's, he just got that passion, man, for great whiskey. He just wants you to have great whiskey.
We
It's
do
awesome.
it for the culture.
So
Hey.
what do you think of this one now you've tasted it?
I like it a lot. And you know what's interesting? We've tasted 4 whiskeys now, right? The core product that you have, the small batch, which one was that? That was small batch.
Well, you have the barely legal bourbon,
Barely legal bourbon.
and then
that
you have
one.
the French oak finish bourbon.
So right now, as I sit here, my 2 favorites, I love that French oak. My God. Okay, that makes a huge difference.
Dude, it's good.
Steven, do you remember, sir, when we did the French oak episode with the Huber Starlight French oak that I got? Do you remember that one?
Long time ago?
A long time ago. Do
I
you
think
have
so.
any?
I think so.
We both were passes, and we were passes because it just lit up the palate
too much.
in a way that was
Yeah.
like spicy
Yeah, I
and
remember that
dry and weird. And I like French oak. I like Maker's
Wine.
French
Yeah,
oak,
it's my
wine,
favorite.
French oak kind
Yeah.
of things. I don't like that drying, weird, floral,
Yeah.
crazy
I'm not
French
big and
oak.
dry.
And so this, to me,
This French oak is a different animal.
I mean, I'm going to buy one. I mean, however I buy it. I mean, I know
So-
you don't have them in your pocket, but I would.
When
I'm-
I'm picking out barrels or spirits in general,
Yeah.
the number one thing that turns me off is dryness and tannic.
Right.
Yeah.
If I have to drink a glass of water to be able to drink a glass of whiskey or brandy, whatever,
Right.
it's just not for me.
Well, I mean,
Unless we're in Mexico.
Happiest place on earth, right?
well, I love that. I think that your Amarana is pretty exceptional as well because, I mean, Kenny's going to be mad probably for me to say this because he likes Rare Character. I've been kind of Rare Character's got some really good products, but
Well,
they're
let me
Amarana.
tell you one thing about Rare Character and Pablo Boy.
Yeah.
That's my brother in arms.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I'm not saying
That's
anything
my
bad.
brother in arms.
Well, I love a lot of their products, but the Amarana that they had for some of the picks that I've had, so that could be on the fault of the picker.
No, dude, they've had
they
so many bottles of Ambrano, though.
But
it's which one? They're all different.
I've tried a couple of them, and they were just so cinnamony and crazy that I'm like, dang! Like I actually popped one and just
that
gave
brand just
enough
doesn't
for
make
me.
something that hits your palate.
Yeah, no, and I'm not.
and that's
listen,
how it works.
the exceptional malts, some of the bourbon,
Yeah.
other things, bangers, right? They've-
Pablo Moy and Chad Watson are my brothers in arms, and always will be.
No, and I'm 100% there
Some
with
of
you.
my biggest supporters in the industry as well too. Because
think they make
the
some
thing
great
is,
stuff.
it's like you got to think all of us independent guys are friends with each other, and we have to stand up to the David and Goliath of the structure of commerce of whiskey.
Right.
Like, all of us don't matter to shit. Like if you add up our numbers versus Jack Daniels
Oh, I know.
or Jim Beam White on a global scale,
Oh yeah, forget about it.
we're fucking pissing a bucket.
I hear you. Yeah, absolutely.
But I've got this crazy construct in my mind. Like, there's a reason that corporations are pushing out a food agenda and flavor agenda to conform people across the platforms.
I understand.
And that is something that goes through fast food, corporate chain restaurants, and like ready to eat food from the grocery store.
Right.
Is because they want our palates to be shitty.
So are you saying Buffalo Trace? I'm just kidding.
No, I wouldn't even put Buffalo Trace.
I was just
up
messing
on
around.
that.
I'm just having a good time because I just know that Kenny sometimes gets on me because my palate sometimes gravitates toward like Buffalo Trace.
BT.
sometimes.
Well, some of us are master tasters and some of us are not.
There you go. There you go. Well, I didn't know if you were paying me a compliment or not.
Yeah, who knows? That
not
was
really.
an
Yeah,
Italian
mailed.
comment.
There you go.
And I'm not gonna lie, just because you're sitting here, all three of these core products are fun, delicious, and a great drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No. 100%.
I mean, they're great, especially the green one. It's so that one note, that iced gingerbread.
Yes.
I'm in love with it.
Yeah, it's killing it. Like
All right.
I mean, there's so much good stuff.
Breaking news:
What's breaking news?
Big Z has committed to Arkansas.
Are you serious?
Seriously.
Big Z.
I didn't see that coming.
Cal, who
going
did not play him like he could have, should have this last year,
And he's not going to play him again.
and he's not going to play him again. And Big Z is going to Arkansas.
So you know what that tells me?
Even though
That
it'd be a
what-
perfect.
NL.
What I said earlier is absolutely true. Cal promises Big Z he's going to get him to the NBA, and Mark Pope's like, I'm going to work your butt off.
But
And-
he would be so great in Pope's system
I
because
know.
where he's a big man that's a shooter.
He might not want to do the work. That's all I can say. No disrespect, Z, but you might not want to do the work. Uh-oh.
All right, so
We got bottles coming
What
out.
are you pulling out?
I think, oh my God. Holy cow.
Now, before we hit these bottles, I have something that Macaulay can talk about.
Uh-oh.
This is the Dark Arts Blunt Blend.
Oh, the old blunt blend.
The Blunt
Oh.
Blend. So we've all heard of cigar blend. This is the Blunt Blend. That's why I gave
Actually,
you guys clean glasses.
I was telling my wife the other day, like, hey, honey, you know what would be really great in whiskey if somebody had a. I wasn't saying any of this. I'm just joking around.
Was this
But
pillow talk?
But a blunt blend? Yeah, pillow talk. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Come on, really? A blunt blend? I'm not. Hey,
So tell us about this Blunt Blend.
I was
Now,
excited. Now I'm not taking it serious. I'm joking around.
there was a
So that's kind of how the
Whiskey
whole
Advocate article. It was awesome.
incantation of that whiskey came in together. It was kind of started out as a joke, actually. Like,
Really?
we were kind of in the warehouse, like talking about cigar blends, cigar batches, anything like that. And we were in there one day, and I was just like, I actually don't fucking smoke cigars. I smoke weed and I smoke blunts. I was like, so like, maybe we need to like line up something for weed smoking in here. And we had a bunch of random protoceps, and then like one day, me and my buddy was in the warehouse, and we were just like, I was like, all right, let's try this like Madeira and Armagnac combination. And we were like, looked at each other and we're just like, holy fuck, this is it. So that's how the first whiskey in history for paired with cannabis consumption was born, right there.
Man, and when did you guys release this? Was this something that's been released?
It was released. It was actually our first allocated product.
Oh,
So
there you go.
it hit the streets in end of March, middle March. So in time for the holidays, April 20th coming up. So we actually have two holidays coming up. We
Nice.
have the sacrament of April 20th for our cannabis consumers, and then we also have April 19th for Bicycle Day, for the day that Albert Hoffman first ate LSD.
Oh, there you go.
Back to back.
I love it. I freaking love it.
A lot of consciousness expansion going on in April.
That's right.
Spring flowers, mind flowing.
So can you tell us about this? Is this Rye's bourbons finishing
That's
this, finishing
actually
that?
a 7-year-old 95.5 rye whiskey aged
Okay.
in Armagnac cask and Madeira cask.
There we go.
Okay. Macaulay, I like you already because you seem to like a lot of rye. Is that an unfair assumption or assumption?
Did I not show you my leg tattoo that said rye or die?
Rye or die? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you said. You mentioned it earlier, but I didn't know that's for real. That's for
Yeah.
real? Okay.
It's for
Well,
real.
That's for
I'm really weird because I like weeded bourbons, but then I also love rye. So I don't know how you get on that thing, but like regular bourbon is kind of boring to me. But I like rye. I like wheated bourbon. So I don't know what it's about.
It's okay to be boring every now and then. Most people probably listening are boring.
There you go. Oh, there you go. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna go in and taste this blunt blend.
Go in.
Where's my blunt blend?
Right. Hey, where's your glass?
There you go. Dang it, we forgot to pour the guest of honor over here.
The creator.
The creator. Hey.
That's an honor right there. We did a sample bottle
That
kill.
is sad.
Sample bottle kill. Sample bottle
brother.
kill.
You know someone that can get you another bottle.
Cheers.
Yeah, for me, when that kind of came together, like the whole taste profile
delicious.
on it is a little bit like herbaceous, resiny
fun.
on the front palate. Like I get like Manduka honey, which is kind of sweet and earthy on it, and then I believe it goes into like a little bit of pine tar on the middle of it, so it gives a little bit of that terpene, and the Madeira actually kind of helps round out with like that red fruit terpene on the back end of it. And this one is actually guaranteed not to give you cotton mouth.
I was in the middle of a sip.
So
As an engineer, I love all the vernacular you used because I didn't understand any of it.
Sure, I just usually talk and nod sometimes.
So the first time I had this was actually Alves gave me a sample. That's where I got my sample from. And what I did was I got David Jennings, Rare Bird 101, his new rye that he has coming out. I got a sample of his rye.
Did you do a Pepsi challenge on the motherfucker?
I did.
Yeah.
And I did.
Is that Crystal Pepsi?
We're doing it.
But I did Blackwood rye, the Blackwood toasted rye, this rye, the David Jennings rye. I picked I had a Kentucky Owl. I forgot what I had the Ezra rye. I had a bunch of ryes that all put together.
Did you have Four Roses rye?
And this one and the David Jennings rye beat any of these bottles that are $200 and less and ryes that I had. It just beat them. So just finished at the very top, man. If
David
David's
Jennings
ryes.
wants to go into a rye wrestling match in a kiddie pool, I'm okay with that challenge.
Here we go. Set it up.
Challenge issue. There you go.
Set it up.
There it is.
Pay-per-view.
Full of rye grain. Has to be at least 18 inches deep to get the knees in.
So where y'all at on this? You like it? I enjoy it. I like it a lot. It's like my third time having it.
Man, I'm like my mind is being stretched here now in terms of what my palate's used to in whiskey, which is
That's what the whole point of the brand is a mind stretcher.
And here's the thing, I can tell you this honestly as you sit there. The only time I've ever had any of Dark Arts was probably here one night. No, I know for a fact. Kenny, the bottle that has a glass topper on it.
Yep,
that
this one.
pick. I had that one night. I liked it. I said it's pretty amazing. The problem is I just hadn't looked in more to the brand, and now here I am going, man, I really needed to look into this.
Quit being such a label slut.
There
Just
you
go
go.
to Total Wine.
No, he is a Buffalo Trace tater.
Go to Total
Macaulay.
Wine
Total
and
Wine is where
ask
it's at.
them for the
Macaulay.
call brands that they're putting out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Macaulay, he's a tater.
There's
dude.
something with a
He's
horse
tater.
or a colonel or a stable
that's
or an
him.
old something in
That's
there.
him. He's all
about
They will
horses.
direct you to that. That is the corporate message and the status
but
quo.
here's the thing, though. I
Avoid the status quo.
I agree with you, but here's the thing. Kenny will say things.
But I like ranch dressing on my chicken and my fries and everything.
there you go.
Extra mayonnaise.
There you go. See? He'll say what he says, but palate wise, I'm comfortable with my palate, and I think I know a good whiskey from not good whiskey, at least at the very bare minimum. And I'm liking a lot of them tasting here.
I'll have to tell you a story about
Yes,
when
sir.
I went to a barrel pick one time, and I do give them credit. It was during the ice storm and all of the shit. So they let us in kind of out of consciousness. And we're in there and we're doing this barrel pick, and this lady looks at me and she did that what I was joking at. She poured the first one and was like, do you want to buy this one? What I like to do is I like to coat the glass and
Right.
sometimes
Pop it. Yeah.
we had to go through all the pop and circumstance of
Right.
we don't want to buy this one, we want to buy that,
Right.
this, get all three samples.
It's part
it was
of the
ridiculous.
process. Yes,
No, it was
absolutely.
ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
It was hey, here's the first one. Do you want to buy this one? I'm like, what? Like, no, let's try them all.
Right.
And I'm swirling this glass and I'm smelling it because, like, when you coat the glass, the alcohol and ethanol is coating the glass. Like, the aromatics are coming up through
Absolutely.
it. And she's like, why'd you do that? And I was like, gave her this, like, white paper, like, stance on it. And she's like, oh, that's wrong. And I was like, all of us in the group were like, oh, God.
Oh, no.
And then sometimes, like, when a glass of whiskey's been sitting out, I like to take, like, a first little sip on my palate and a follow-up sip.
Right.
And she's like, why did you do that? And she was like, that's wrong. And I gave her a white paper answer. And after it, I walked out and I just popped her my business card and I was like, hey, if you'd like to learn how to do customer service and guest relations a little bit better and hold a barrel pick, why don't you come down and see me sometime? Because that's not how you treat your people.
Right. Here's the thing. You know way more than the average person. But when you're tasting with a group of people and you trust people's palates, right?
Well, also, you don't know who you're talking to when you're sitting around drinking with someone. You treat everyone with the same respect.
Right. 100%.
As you would yourself.
Right. And here's the thing, though. When you're on a barrel pick, you know, is not at your place maybe, but at other places, especially the corporate ones, they're telling you stuff that you're going, wait a minute. You know, like the one I was at most recently, everyone's talking about 2. Oh, 2 so off profile. I bet you it's the oldest. I bet you it's this. I bet you it's that. And I'm going, it tastes like young, grainy, grassy, weird. And then lo and behold, when they revealed, and that was not my vote, that was the youngest whiskey there. And not saying the youngest whiskey is the worst, but it was definitely something that was hitting me, was not hitting everybody else that was there. And
well, like I told that lady, you drink your whiskey however you want to.
Right.
I don't care if you put a swirly straw in it.
Right.
You drinking out of Mountain Lightning or Dr. Thunder.
Now you
put
got
some
Dr.
Yoo-hoo
Thunder.
in there.
Nice.
You do what you want to do.
And the straw.
Or
some Fago.
Fago.
Whatever.
There you go.
There you go. Get some orange pop. Love it. I love it.
So what'd you pull out of your box or bag there,
Oh,
Macaulay?
man. You want to go topsy-turvy or we want to try some wine finish stuff first?
Whoa.
Wine. Yeah, wine finished stuff. Holy cow. I will say this is not a traditional mashup episode because our goal tonight wasn't really like to assess, I guess, was to talk with you and to taste and get an idea of who you are, what the brand is about, and I think we're accomplishing that. And I'm so excited that you just pulled out more bottles because I want to taste some more stuff. It's so good.
Well, and this is something we did not talk about this before the episode at all. So it's like everything right now is off the cuff. We did not sit and talk to Macaulay about what we're going to talk about and not talk about. So we talked a few episodes ago about the bourbon boom. Is it dead? Is it not dead? So we started talking about like NDPs and things like that. What?
Let's go.
All right. So what we were talking about was
welcoming all comers.
I got you. Okay. So my view on that is you have places, and I even mentioned you in Dark Arts. I was like, you have Dark Arts in Macaulay. You've got a Mean in Old Louisville, blah, blah, blah. You have some of these NDPs, that they do an amazing job what they do. They're great people. And like you walk into Total Wine, there's literally like 400 SKUs of bourbon that you're like, I don't want to buy any of those. Why would I buy those?
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things like, the Heaven Hills, the Buffalo Traces, you've got the Wild Turkeys, you've got those guys that are producing their own stuff and, how is their business booming, not booming, blah, blah, blah. But then you have all these other brands. And we talked about that. Like you actually want to support people that people you like, people that make good juice. And that's what you are to me, man. Someone that makes great product and someone you like. And so I didn't know what your thoughts were on like where things are in the bourbon world of what you're seeing on bourbon, quote unquote, boom. Is it starting? Is it almost dead? Is it going to continue? Is it this? Is it that? Because there's so much conflicting information out there.
I honestly believe it depends on how you're trying to enter the market.
Yeah.
What I've done with my business and what we've done as a team is we're not going into trying to fight for shelf space in the liquor store with 3-4-year-old product that's $100 a piece. What we came in with is very unique 6 to 7, 10-year-old products to hit the shelves. We specialize in exotic woods, wine, and finishing. And this isn't a mass consumer brand. I don't expect everyone in the world to like everything that we make, because that's not what the intent and intention was behind it. And we want to be a niche brand. We don't want to be a mass consumer brand. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, about like the corporatization of flavorization in our palates. Yeah. That's what we don't believe in anymore. And if you have a idea and thought and flavor that you want to stand outside the box and pursue, you'll pursue brands like this, and you'll support NDAs and like not NDPs, not NDAs.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a couple of NDAs out there. Sorry.
And I mean, that's what I've said at several on Journey Drinkers in here both. It's like, man, for $89.9 on Bucks, it's hard to beat the flavor profiles and the just great flavor y'all offer for the money. I mean, I love it.
Well, I mean, there's been a lifelong, or not lifelong, I'm springing too forward on that, but everything that we do is rooted in flavor development, scientific inquiry, and trying to push the norms outside of it. And like, that's why our brand has almost 50 different SKUs, and we're less than a year old. It's not because that we're just like deciding to put out like multi-year statements, different proofs and age statements of the same mash bill. It's because that we're putting out different flavor profiles on that and pushing the envelope on it.
That's the real beauty of it, I believe, for seasoned bourbon drinkers like us. Something different, very fun. All these bottles are great,
right?
And you provide it for us. It's great. Thank you.
Well, I went and cleaned your all's glasses. So while Macaulay was talking. All right, so you brought out 5 bottles from your satchel.
Kenny, is he being influenced by you, or is he just big dog, just like, bringing out the 5?
He's a big dog, bro.
There you go.
I got big dog status.
There you go, big dog status. I mean, I only know Kenny to like try to blind me into oblivion, but I mean, you brought out a lot of bottles, so I'm excited to try them.
Yeah, so the first one that we're going to crank out is actually a barrel of 7-year-old that is aged in Pinot Noir cask, and I actually call this one Wagyu Blood.
Wagyu.
So is this something that's going to be released by you? Is it going to be a group only pick or something? How's that going to work?
So far that has only been used at group only picks or component whiskey as well too.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So the reason that I decided to go with the Pinot Noir finish is because called up my barrel broker, which is one of my great friends, and she's like, Macaulay, why do you want Pinot Noir barrels? And I was like, Jessica, it's pretty simple. I was like, I like whiskey and I like Pinot and I like steak.
Right. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So this is actually one that I created to be eaten with a very like fatty piece of meat. So like Wagyu or like a dry aged ribeye. Because
I was just gonna say ribeye. Hungry.
Like this one kind of just like takes you like on a flavor roller coaster. Honestly, like you get punched in the face with some of that red fruit from the Pinot. You get a little dryiness on the aspect of it as well too from it. And then you get a little slap and tickle from the whiskey.
You ever thought about going table by table at Jeff Ruby's?
No.
You can make a killing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Holy cow.
Can you taste the slap and tickle?
Yeah. you just made Steven spit it out. I can.
I think Steven felt the smack and tickle.
I think he did. Hey,
everyone likes a good smack and tickle.
Steven, how's your nose?
How's your booty? That's a better question.
That was great.
It's better now.
Did it come through the nose or not?
No.
Almost. That was amazing.
Yeah, because that's just kind of representative of some of the things that we do. Because like we work with white port, red port, Madeira, as we'll try in a second, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, Takai, like Spanish orange wine, Sauterne. I import exotic wood from Japan, such as Mezzanara.
Okay.
Brazilian oak from
Love it.
South America, and some other things I can't talk about just yet.
It's alchemy. There's secrets in the alchemy.
Is this stave or is this in the whole barrel?
That's whole barrel.
Whole barrel.
Anytime that I do a wine or spirits or maple syrup, it's always full.
No. Gotcha.
Wine cask bigger? They're bigger than...
it just depends. Like generally they're 59 gallons, and then like Armagnac cask, Calvados cask are usually 71 gallon barrels.
Does that make any kind of difference, or do you got to count for that or anything? It's just
alchemy.
Okay, there you go. Cool.
I got a little bit of this one left. I'm gonna keep hitting back on it. That's good. I enjoyed that.
The next one is actually a Madeira. So Madeira has been one of our hottest sellers. So
Oh, wow.
like,
All right, I'm interested to try this.
I taught a class down in New Orleans about wine finishing. So we went through the whole vertical of this mash bill and different maturation techniques. So there's basically 3 different wines in the like port family. So there's white port, which is kind of fresh, floral, fresh fruit. Red port's a little darker, like dry cherry. And then you get into Madeira, which kind of brings into that like figs and dates quality to it almost.
Oh, I looked over your mom and was like, I actually mouthed, I'm like, he is so smart. And she's like, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure she would tell you that I've been a fucking smart ass and a hard ass piece of shit for years to deal with.
I love it. A mother's love.
She's like, yeah, he can be a dickhead.
How's the Redbreast 19? Isn't it good? You're welcome. All right, so this is Madeira. So I'm interested to try this because in general for Madeira, I get sulfur matchstick on most Madeira finish for me. Like I said, when I was a little kid, you know, you would like take your tooth and like dry it with your finger really good, take a matchstick and light it off your tooth. And this is like, that's that sulfur matchstick.
No, I never did that.
You remember that? You remember when you used to do that?
So this is that.
You must be drinking like poor people port or something.
Was that punishment?
If the port is less than $4.99 for a $7.50, please don't drink it. But a big bold contrast between the
That is
California
balanced. That is balanced.
Pinot Noir and the European Madeira.
Oh my
1000%.
gosh, that is balanced.
Balance.
That is not overdone.
Yep.
And then the last 3 of these bad boys
Wow.
are going to blow your mind.
Really?
Well, I know somebody over here with 3 clean glasses. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna have to get up and clean some
need an
glasses.
extra
if I
one.
got to.
I'm actually going to take over a little commentator sport on this talk show here,
Okay, all right. Okay,
podcast,
here we go.
whatever the fuck we call it.
All right. Very good.
And we are going to just drink this blind.
Oh,
And we
blind.
are going to play a game of guess what's in our mouths.
Oh my God! Please. Oh wow. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've still got to take one more sip of this Madeira finished. Because in general, I'm not a Madeira fan. I had the what do we have from Mythical that was Madeira finished? Was that a rare character?
I like that. That was rare character.
But it was heavy Madeira,
It was heavy Madeira, but I thought it was good.
right?
Very
But
good.
To me, it was too heavy. This is balanced and lighter. I like that.
I'd like the record to state that I actually opened my bottle, shared it with everybody, and drank it, and other people shipped that bottle off.
I like the record to state that after drinking Anthony's bottle, I flipped mine for $100 profit per bottle.
Ah, you did.
And I would like the record to state that Pablo Moy and Chad Watson's are my ride or dies.
Oh, I love those guys too, though, man. I love both of those guys, man. Honestly, man. So I've got, which obviously I've got my rare character, exceptional malt series stuff that I love, but then I've got a rare character, a couple picks from Al that Alves did. It's just also just freaking fire, man. So Pablo is awesome, man. I love Pablo. I love Chad.
You
Good
just got to
dudes.
think about the artistry and the creativity and the hard work that goes through some of these independent brands that just isn't expressed in some of these larger corporate brands. And I mean, honestly, every single one of us are putting our lives and souls on this. We're staking our whole livelihood behind this because, like, everyone likes to think that, like, oh, Macaulay's just wearing a fur coat and eating dinner and getting drunk all the time. I'd like to show you some of the sausage behind it. Like, let's talk about, like, accounts receivable. Let's talk about international supply chains.
Right.
Let's talking about making the decision to only work with independent distributors and having 20 plus accounts across the country instead of like a centralized RNDC or Southern Glaciers.
Yeah.
It's because small business is the backbone of America.
Right.
And when you drink our whiskey, you support us and you support our communities around us.
That's what we talked about with you know, who do you want to like? So in the quote unquote, you know, downed economy per se, inflation's rampant, all that kind of stuff. You know, who do you want to support? And you know, for me, it's people like you. It's Amin. It's a Pablo. It's people like that, man, that I'd rather support than walking into Total Wine with like 400 brands that I literally know nothing about.
And we appreciate that because every dollar and every drink that comes out of our bottles helps us reinvest in our community. It helps us reinvest in our brand. It helps support local economy. Do you believe that we contribute more money than some of the larger guys on like our scale?
Well, you know what's funny? I was going to say that when
just a third one.
Yeah, that's the third one coming around. When I was thinking about that, you were mentioning a whole list of things that people don't consider. One is also taxes, right? Of all the different taxes that you pay for different things. And you're looking at all the big guys. I mean, again, not getting political, just talking of my surface level knowledge. All those barrel taxes, everything getting rolled back. Hopefully they help everybody.
Whiskey is taxed like 19 times.
Yeah, they're gonna help. I think it's gonna help the big guys disproportionately versus small guys. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm not going to make a pitch right now.
Right.
But I moved into a certain Senate district in the state of Kentucky.
Okay.
To run for state Senate.
Whoa.
Did you really?
Whoa, is this an announcement for sure?
Official?
It's been going on since I was a young child.
Okay, all right.
When I was 16 years old, I worked in the United States Senate.
Okay, very cool.
For Mitch McConnell as a United States page.
Really?
Nice.
I'm a student of constitutional law and a student at George Washington University for political management.
Well, if I wasn't worried about the equipment right now, I'd give you a hug. But I'm worried about knocking glasses over. And
you, sir, are impressive.
Yes, for sure.
We'll see how the dice roll.
Okay.
I wake up every morning and say, how can I complicate my life more? Another round of What's in Our Mouth by Kenny Mills.
These noses are insane. So I am
I have a very specific reason why I think the first one's
so
involved.
nice.
I could be wrong.
I'm not a wine guy, so I don't know anything about wine.
That's okay. You don't need to know anything about wine in this segment of the show, Kenny.
I thought you said it was wine finished.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I thought you said wine finished.
We're playing Guess What's in Our Mouth.
Oh, okay. The first two were wine finished.
Yes.
This is wild. All three of these noses are literally wild. Oh boy.
Well, Macaulay, you're going to have to enlighten me because something in the first glass is the nosing is reminding me of something familiar.
But don't lighten us yet. It's still a blonde.
Yeah, because it's in a way that I will say for the first time tonight is not exactly pleasing to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's all right.
But that's only because I had an experience that was not like anybody else.
Was it at Applebee's?
Did the Fiesta Lime Chicken not go well? What happened
The
here?
Fiesta Lime
The
Chicken.
riblets?
Man.
What happened?
Oh, my God. No, we were tasting Best of 2023 with 40 whiskeys and one that everybody else liked I didn't like. And I'm getting vibes from this glass.
That's all right.
But I was the outlier, always been the outlier. So we'll see what happens.
Poor Applebee's.
Oh, what did Applebee's do to you?
Shout out to Applebee's.
I actually ate there a long time ago. But then the
5 for
food
5
got,
appetizers.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
get some riblets.
What's the closest one? Nicholasville?
Dude, they've all closed down. I don't know.
Well, Nicholasville has one right there by the bypass.
I don't know.
The one in Danville, Kentucky's lit as fuck.
Oh! Shout out, right?
Dude, thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, you don't understand how. Which, if you listen to Mossick's podcast, our podcast, I really do talk about you and Dark Arts a lot, man. It's like I really enjoy what y'all got going on, man. So I appreciate you coming on for real.
I appreciate you, brother.
And from me and Steven over here, I will say this. When we started this podcast, we always thought we wanted to talk to people that are making whiskey. But because of the path that we went down,
Right.
we said, will we have people that make whiskey? It's
difficult.
Just like Kenny said at the beginning. It's difficult because, for example,
if my refrigerator wasn't leaking so much water and I needed a new Bosch from Kenny, I might not be down here.
Oh, understood.
What's going on there?
Discounts.
Oh, man.
Scratch and dent.
Not really.
But for real, this is crazy. You may know this, but you might not know this. When we started a podcast, we'd have people just send us stuff. Like, they're like, oh, you're a podcast, you're getting good ratings, we'll send you stuff. They send us stuff, we review it and be like, this is not good.
No.
And there was one episode where we joked where Michael, who's our buddy, was like, they're going to charge us for this now because we
Cash
said it was
grabs
bad.
or ass. This ain't right ain't free.
Jeez.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Right. In the times we've had guests, it's always been people from the community and not necessarily people that are making whiskey. Right. I'm trying to think. The closest we've come to people that are making whiskey that really aren't making whiskey is probably Ryan. And Ryan is selecting a lot of good whiskey, but he's not making it. Is he? Ryan's not making whiskey, is he? But yeah, there you go. So we're definitely triple, double, and tripling down.
So
on happy to have you.
And Macaulay, last time I was doing a barrel pick, he talked about somebody had kind of called him out online a little bit about something. He's like, "Come on down here, bro, and we'll do some blending together. We'll see what you got or whatever." I love that story because, man, it's not freaking as easy as you think. Because once you blend something together, the way it tastes right now is different than the way it tastes the next day or 3 days later or whatever, too.
You trying to get me in trouble, Kenny?
Nah, but it was good. I mean, because it's not as easy.
Well,
it's not as easy as people think. It's not freaking that easy.
It's not.
It's not.
It's also a lot easier to cast shade on someone that's doing something when you swinging harder than they are.
Yeah.
First of all,
But
it's so much. Hold on, let me go on a tangent for a second on that one.
I'm ready, bro.
It's literally so much easier to cast shade on someone and tell them how shitty they're doing.
Keyboard
something,
warriors.
and you want to be a hater on their projects and what they're doing versus trying to build up and grow community. And that's where I find a major rift and disrespect in this industry and humanity in general, because it's so much easier in everyone's consciousness to just tear someone down.
Yeah.
That's
the easy thing to do.
It's just easier to talk shit about you instead of saying, "Hey, bro, you crushed this.
Yep.
You're doing good."
Right.
And Macaulay, you are crushing it and doing good, bro. For real.
Thank you.
Seriously.
So how are we going to do this reveal of the glasses here? Because I'm really interested. Because
Yeah.
I haven't tried a third one yet.
you haven't tried a third one yet.
But I mean,
I'm really interested because here's what I want to happen for the first time on this podcast.
okay.
Not the first time, for many times, but from you, is tell me that my palate is terrible. That's what I want.
I thought I told you that like 20 times. Like, you need to start going to the appetizers at Applebee's.
No.
I freaking love it. I love
Quit
it,
drinking off the well.
There you go.
Because it's cheap.
Old Crow. Old Crow.
Old Crow.
Doc Crow.
So are 2 and 3 similar?
All three of
Hey,
them
these are blinds,
similar.
bro. Don't ask questions.
I want to ask questions.
All
I do
three are
too.
similar.
Steven, I want the questions like you
Because
do.
they're all whiskey.
Well, okay.
It's alchemy, dog.
Alchemy is, it's like Macaulay's not even sweating. He's like, I'm here with these amateurs. They're tasting this stuff. They're like, they don't even know what they're doing.
This is Applebee's happy hour.
It's happy hour at Applebee's. There you go.
2 for
Exactly.
1 right now. And
He's like, well, how did I fall into this? Damn it, Kenny. What did you get me into?
50% off of a refrigerator.
Yeah, I might have to throw some serious discounts this way.
Here it goes.
I'm going to tag on that.
I need a new stove. So Macaulay, can you help me out with that?
Yeah, Kenny, we want all Bosch.
We're a group back.
Well, actually, guys, I have a surprise. Purest is actually giving all of us a kitchen makeover.
You get a new kitchen. You get a new kitchen.
Use the
Kenny,
code.
look what you just got yourself into.
Go to prats.com. Use the code the mashup
And see what happens.
to receive 50% off.
Yeah.
Of paper towels.
Yeah, enter that code. Get a code not found.
I don't know what happened. It was supposed to be 50%.
Oh man! So, can I say something about the nose on the first one? Because I'm
Sure.
really interested. Because I really am super interested in the first one.
Yeah.
There's I'm Kenny for the second time in the history of tasting whiskey, and first time I said this,
You getting Cheetos?
I'm getting cheese. Well, the
Yeah.
greatest.
All right, wrapping
So-
back up to the next portion. We're
Yes.
going back into What's in Our Mouths, sponsored by Kenny Mills and Purats.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
I love the fact that you've taken over as host now. That's great. It's fantastic. We're leaving that.
And the kitchen makeovers, that's going to happen.
Kitchen makeovers. Everyone's getting one.
Good luck editing this shit.
Kenny is like, what have I got myself into?
So for me, I go first pour is my first place.
Oh.
Third pour is my second place. I'm sorry. Yeah, third pour. Second pour is my second place. So I go 1, 3, 2 for me. So I go 1, 3, 2 for my like finishes. But what I think we're drinking is a single malt or a high malt, one of the two. To me, it's more, I'm getting more of a single malt vibe, like an Irish whiskey. And but I am, as far as like first place, second place, third place, I go, because 1 is so freaking unique. So I could kind of flip 1 and 3. I could go 1 and 3 either way, but I still lean 1 a little bit. Then I go 3, then I go 2.
That's fun. I'm glad you said there was a link between them, because I felt there was like.
I think they're all three very similar.
Very similar.
I think they're all three very similar.
I felt 2 and 3 were super similar.
I think all 3 are very similar.
1, I could pick out a little something different, but 2 and 3 I felt were like, damn, these are close.
Yeah.
I am 3, 2, 1 in reverse order. I like 3 the best, 2 second, and 1 the least.
Really? Because I could go like 1 and 3 as my flip. I am saying 1 and 3, but I could really go 3 and 1.
The nose of 1 is whatever's going on there is like a wedge of aged white cheddar, and it turns me off. Cheddar on the nose turns me off.
Cheddar turned you off?
You gotta quit smelling the feet underneath the sheets.
I knew that.
I'm
Foot
with
fetish over here. Foot fetish man.
You might.
There you go.
I'm with Kenny on the order.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I am 1-3, but I really could go 3-1. But you know,
All right, what do you think it is?
all 3 are good though.
What do I think? I think that.
Well, hey, back up real quick.
Okay,
all 3
go
are
ahead.
good.
Yeah,
I
they're
enjoy
very
all
good.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Enjoy
not
all
gonna.
3.
I'm not gonna say that. What do I think? What am I guessing here?
What is in your mouth?
What's
other
in my
than
mouth?
Cheese.
Cheese. Glass 2, a lot of pears and citrus. Like that was what I got from Glass 2. Glass 3 is a mixture of a lot of good citrus orchard, like just really nice apples, pears, things, just long finish.
Dude,
Glass 1 is just
they're kind of toss-ups though.
like kind of toss up. Glass 1 for me is like the one where I don't like the nose, I don't like the palate. I don't know what it is.
Well, I like the one because it was kind of bold.
It's bold. It's
Right,
definitely
see,
bold.
that's the thing. I like the one where it was bold, but I just drank 2 and then 1. I can still flip them, man. Gosh dang it.
The palate on 1 is better than the nose. But I'm a 3, 2, 1 guy.
All right.
That's all. I'm sorry I couldn't say
Where
more.
are you at, Steven?
The same as you.
All right, so
Fermented
I'm
cabbage.
1, 3, 2.
Yep.
All right.
We're drinking some American single malt.
Single
There you
malt.
Oh,
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
American single malt.
I said malt.
There's no cheese flavors.
Used,
or cabbage flavors.
no mild sharp
These
cheddar.
are just
Used cask
bright.
or brand new cask?
This actually went into wet bourbon barrels, then into red ale barrels, and then back into wet bourbon barrels.
They're not. Yeah, these are good. But they're all 3 the same, just different barrels of that.
Different barrels, though. Yeah,
Okay. Somebody guessed right. I'm just going to say. I don't know who the somebody is, but it might be sitting on this
There's
side
like
of the table.
only one right answer at the table. This guy's been sucking toes and eating cabbage too much over here.
You know what's funny? I will allow that to stand there.
Yes.
But I'm going to say this. Whatever you have going
He's
on.
a toe sucker.
Whatever you have going on with number 1 is funky. It's a crazy funk with number 1, and I like 2 and 3 better.
Like I like yeast nutrients.
It's
Hey,
just.
I was the first person at the table to say malted whiskey. Yeah. Hey,
And toe sucking.
golf clap. Yeah, I know.
Man. Yeah, I'm enjoying these. So
Yeah.
how long have you been aging? What are these? What are the?
I actually went out on pilgrimage.
Because the color's kind of light. The color's light compared to
Well,
your
those
core
are-
products.
That's when you start getting into those different maturation products.
Yeah.
Like it just depends on like what you're going into for. Like 7 years into used whiskey is a whole different ball game. And honestly,
Yep.
you don't want to put single malt into new barrels. Like there's some people out there in the market that are doing it, but just that malted barley like distillate just does not vibe well with that new oak profile
Correct.
like it does with bourbon.
Right.
And I actually went on a barrel buying trip, and the place that I bought these barrels from is a place that I don't associate myself with. Told a couple of my friends that went on that trip with me, I was like, expect us to go in there and taste nothing. And then we bought all 5 that were on the ground, and
That's awesome.
I was like, hey, you got anything else in the back? Because
Yeah.
for me, I guess I haven't sucked enough toes and had yeast nutrient like this guy over here has, but I have.
He's talking about Kenny.
I've experienced like really orchard fruit, peach, varying levels of tea on it.
Yeah.
And when I found these barrels, I knew that I had to have them.
Dude, no, I agree. This reminds me a lot of my red breast type stuff. That's why I went single malt on
Well,
this.
that's why I like red breast as well too. Is that we were kind of joking around,
exactly.
and that's why my mom was over there drinking fucking Gucci ass red breast of all time.
I love you both, but I want to smack both of you because I correctly identified the fruit. Whatever's going on at the first one is just not my jam. Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay to be wrong, bro. It's okay to be wrong. It really is. It's fine.
It's okay to get a zero. You know what? It's fine. It's all good.
Hang on. Number one. Ooh, old Rip Van Winkle. Lot B.
Yeah. Some people work at
Blanton.
state schools
Here we
and some
go.
work at Ivy League schools.
That's right. That's how it goes.
Get him, Macaulay.
Wait. I
Get him,
graduated
Macaulay.
there.
Hey, I did too. I graduated there too.
You guys. Hey, I'm just saying, I love everything I've tasted tonight, with the exception of one. That's it. Just one. That's it.
That's a Kenny pick, right?
That's a Kenny pick. Kenny's picked that barrel.
Yep, and he had to go on a toe sucking excursion for a minute. And that's all we got for tonight, guys.
Man.
Shop at Purest and Dark Arts Whiskey House.
I just
The mashup brought to you by Pirates. Use the code mashup for 50% off. Online only.
Yep.
Thank you.
Full kitchen service.
And
Full kitchen service.
code expires in
3,
3, 2, 1.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.